just 211 miles away, stands the great city of Zootopia.
Title drop.
And declared that anyone can be anything! Thank you and good night!
Oh, come on, she's 9 years old. What child of this age doesn't come up with an idea of something they want to be that, in all likelihood, they can't? On a side note, Judy Hopps is a European rabbit, and the average lifespan of a European rabbit is only 9 years, so another point is coming off here.
Then I guess I'll have to be the first one.
The amazing carrot peeler? From the picture, it looks like nothing but a simple peeler. And why would this sign be standing outside a jelly stand?
Yes! Your dad, me, your 275 brothers and sisters.
Ha ha ha, yes, rabbits have a lot of offspring. But even if we were generous in the size of our litters at 14 bunnies each, that's still the equivalent of 19.7 kids. And that's not taking into account possible sets of twins or even triplets.
We're changing the world.
Yeah.
One carrot at a time.
Amen to that.
You believe you're changing the world with your carrots? Your carrots are the equivalent of humans growing, well, carrots. And I don't think any farmer thinks they're changing the world with their crop.
Yeah, just as long as you don't believe in them too much. Where'd the heck she go?
Worst parents ever.
Here you go. Wow! You got our ticket!
At no point could you have grabbed those tickets.
Healthy toilet! You're dead, fluff butt!
Fluff butt.
I am proud to announce that my Mammal Inclusion Initiative...
I've spent a fair amount of time trying to figure out this Mammal Inclusion Initiative, and from what I've found, it's an affirmative action program to minimize employment discrimination. But since every single animal in this movie is a mammal, what really does this do? It's like us having a human inclusion initiative.
Foxes are the worst.
Actually, your father does have a point there.
Well, that's just speciest. I see you're putting an animal spin on many of our popular bands, but Fleetwood Yak? That just sounds nasty. Also, since she does have the Zootopia equivalent of an iPhone, why would she have a separate music player? Especially something similar to a Nano. Even in Zootopia, there's an obsession with Cal. Alarm going off at 5:30 a.m., assuming she needs to be at work by 7. What rookie gets a day shift?
Where you went, you little Dickens?
Oh, cops and their donuts.
First, we need to acknowledge the elephant in the room.
8:30? How far away do you live that you needed to get up 3 hours in advance?
201.
I'm willing to bet parking enforcement doesn't have to pay the meter. After all, this would be a business expense, so it would essentially be the government paying themselves, which would be highly inefficient. And obviously the government wouldn't do something so Wait.
Hey, watch where you're going, Fox.
Fresh dough. The only creatures we see in this movie are mammals, and from what was said earlier,
Us predators used to eat prey.
implying they no longer do. So who is this dough for? That really is disgusting.
$15.
$15 for a jumbo pop? I understand the thing is absolutely huge, but how does this economy work? Are you paid more because you're a larger species and in turn you need to eat more? If not, are the mice automatically wealthier than a bear because of their diet? These parking violations are $25. Either parking tickets are dirt cheap or the price of these popsicles are ludicrous.
And whoopsie number 3.
Hoof locker? Not once do we see any animal wearing shoes, so how can such a place stay in business?
Right. And that's not wet cement.
How did you not feel yourself step into wet concrete? I suppose it would have been possible if you had been wearing shoes from, say, Hoof Locker, but since you, like everyone else, is barefoot, sorry, I'll mark myself off for that. You should have noticed the wet concrete. Though to be fair, I don't quite understand how she managed to step in it, since just seconds earlier we had a view down the street and the construction crew wasn't even there. False advertising. Your cell service is PB&J, as in peanut butter and jelly.
Those meters aren't gonna make themselves.
Bye-bye.
Muzzle time. As a play on words with FaceTime, they chose a term referring to a device that would prevent people from talking.
Yeah, you're a real hero, lady.
Your car is literally just inches long and could have fit an entire other car in front of you. Whose fault is it for parking in a no parking zone? Flora and fauna? So is this a florist or a restaurant? Yeah, I'll just mark myself off again. I don't care if the buildings are small, they would still have a foundation and couldn't just be tipped over like this.
You're fired. Now, I'm going to open this door and you're going to tell that otter you're a former meter maid with delusions of grandeur.
You just fired her, so she doesn't have to do anything.
I will give you 48 hours.
Yes!
That's 2 days to find Emmett Otterton.
Wait, let me just check the math. Yep, that is indeed 2 days. Although some otters do live in tropical regions such as the rainforest, Lantra canadensis, or the North American otter, does not. Department of Mammal Vehicle? I know you're trying quite hard to put a Zootopia spin on everything in this movie, but unless they're Fred Flintstoning their way around in these cars, this should still be the Department of Motor Vehicles. I absolutely love this scene.
T8D0.
Watching him type, I can't even imagine what the layout is on this keyboard.
No, I am a cop. And I'm on the Emmett Otterton case, and my evidence puts him in your car.
I get that you're new to the force, but you are standing in the home of a crime boss without any backup. How do you expect this to go?
You gave her the 48 hours, so technically we still have 10 left.
I'm counting 8 there.
Please, and clear my afternoon. I'm going out.
Oh, no, but sir, you do have a meeting with Herds and Grazing.
He's probably aware of his meeting since he said to clear his afternoon.
Yes, sir?
I thought you were going to cancel my afternoon.
Wait, 16:01 p.m.? Who wrote the software for this phone? It's either 16:01 or 4:01 p.m.
You think when she goes to sleep she counts herself?
Oh, shush.
That's a fair question.
Hunga. We're in.
Zootopia's traffic cam networks sure have a lot of cameras where there are no roads. This footage shows these events taking place at 11:29. Though a system like this would likely be at military time, or at least specify AM or PM, I think it's safe to assume PM. When they're coming to the end of their tram ride, it's morning and there's a fair amount of traffic. How long were they on this thing? Also, since this did take place at 11:29, even if we take into account how long it would take for Bogo to get there, if it is now 4:01 p.m., you are way over your allowed time. Also, since this did take place at 11:29 and it is now 4:01 p.m., did you go home for a bit, or were you actually on this tram for over 15 hours? Cliffside. Well, that's a little on the nose.
Huge claw marks. I mean, what kind of...
Really, Disney? Even you're resorting to jump scares?
You're not like them.
Oh, there's a them now.
Yes, them, as in those who are going savage. Are you going savage? No? Well, then you're not one of them.
The kind that makes you think you need to carry around fox repellent? Yeah, don't think I didn't notice that little item the first time we met.
Like you said, she was carrying it since the first time you met, meaning she isn't carrying it because of you specifically, just a general prejudice towards all foxes. Okay, that didn't really make it any better.
Mr. Fox, were you just threatened by that predator?
No, he's my friend.
We can't even trust our own friends?
Fake news.
Zootopia is a unique place. It's a crazy...
Just like in the real world, celebrities believe their involvement matters because they're famous, but it doesn't.
You are not fine. Your ears are droopy.
I know you're not wrong, but to be fair, they are under the brim of a hat.
Hey, Judy, I'd just like to say I'm sorry for the way I behaved in my youth. I had a lot of self-doubt, and it manifested itself in the form of unchecked rage and aggression.
Have you had this speech planned out? It sounds rehearsed.
Well, now, there's a $4 word, Mr. H. My family always just called them night howlers.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
You knew the scientific name for the flowers, but not what they're colloquially known as? They might be making this look like a quick trip, but remember, this is about a 4-hour drive.
Well, I can cross that off the bucket list.
Blowing the horn on a subway car was on your bucket list? That's just sad.
Judy!
Mayor Bellwether!
Was Bellwether waiting at the museum for them? How could she have possibly planned for this?
It's your word against yours. It's called a hustle, sweetheart.
You really do luck out that the cops have arrived in time, because they still are holding you from an elevated position, and threatening them wouldn't have been in your best interest.
Her predecessor, Leodore Lionheart.
Leodore Lionheart? Really? Leo the Lion?
Sir, you were going 100.
Itria Furniture.